Okay, awesome. Quick question: who was at the talk I gave yesterday morning? Okay, pretty much out of the room. Fine. Who doesn't know about Spring Boot at all? Doesn't know about it. Okay, one try guy. Okay. Yeah, the reason why I'm asking this is it's more of an advanced talk on Spring Boot, but so I'm not going to explain the concept. So what I want to do, what I want to show you is I've been explaining yesterday how Spring Boot can help you to get started and the kind of unique features it brings to the table. But something I forgot to say yesterday and I get a chance to say today is sometimes you may have the impression that Spring Boot is a nice tool to get started with your app, and once you have that, you have an app that's running, you can just remove it and replace with dedicated configuration once you understand how it works, and just forget about it. It's really a tool for prototyping. That's really not what it is about, and what I want to show you now is with this advanced talk is what Spring Boot can do for you if you have an app and you need to improve it. So as yesterday, we won't have any slides here except the title. Oh, by the way, I'm Stefan. This is my Twitter account if you want to follow what I'm doing. So we have an app, and for the purpose of this talk, it's a call for paper app. So let's see what this application is doing now. So there's not much really, but we will improve it. So first of all, there is some GitHub integration here, just for the sake of playing with an external service, where we're showing some commits on on two Spring projects. Nothing really fancy, and then you get some nice home page here with a way to submit, and you can submit a talk there. So I can just fill that in very quickly. Give my email. Here we go. Whoa. My name, whatever. Then you can choose a track for the conference. Let's say server-side Java. Then you submit. And basically you've submitted the proposal to this conference. You can see also that I can log in, and I could access this form without being logged in the application. I can do that as an anonymous user. So I can also log in to access an admin area. No, I don't want to do that. And I have this extra link coming in here, where I can see the current proposals for the CFP. And I can have access also to nice tools like the H2 console, where I can actually look at the state of my database. So remember yesterday we were using H2, and by simply placing H2 on the class path without specifying anything else, Spring Boot as a last resort will create an in-memory database. So that's nice, because then you get a database for free. You don't have to worry about it when you're prototyping. And it's also very easy, because when you're working on your box, you don't have to worry about setting some database schema and whatnot. But it's also interesting to see what's actually in the database, and the H2 console is kind of nice to do that. Okay, so what do we have in the code? Again, don't worry. I will post a link to this GitHub application, and every demo, as a dedicated commit and a commit message. So first of all, if you're lost, please interrupt me. But if you want to do it again, if you want to try it again later on, just check out the code on your machine, and then you can have access to the demo. So my app is very easy. There's really nothing fancy here. There's a security config that's a bit more involved, because we want to secure obviously the admin area. So if you try to access the admin area, we want you to prevent that. So you need to have a special role for it. We want you to be able to submit a proposal without having to log in. And we have a login page that you've seen, etc., etc. Nothing fancy. On the model side, we have a domain object, very easy, with all the information about the submission for now, including the speaker email and the speaker name, and then you have to repeat that every time you submit, which is kind of weird, and that's what we are going to improve. We also have a GitHub client that's using that thing. We're going to show that. We're going to fix that later on. So if you've used GitHub, you probably know that there is a rate limit of the API. So if you don't provide any authentication, I think you can do like 60 calls a minute. And then you can create a token with your username to basically identify yourself. And when you do that, you can invoke GitHub like 5,000 times a minute or something like that. I can't really remember the exact number. So that's what I'm doing here, just to make sure that if I refresh too often, GitHub doesn't blacklist me. And I have a basic configuration there, some customization of the admin area. I also include a secret profile, which is here, so application.secrets. The fact that I've enabled or included a profile called secrets, we will automatically look for a dedicated configuration file at various locations. And this is one of the locations that we look for, and there you can find the wonderful admin user I was using. So I logged in as admin123, and that's the way I could access the admin area. This is what we have, and that's what we are going to improve now using Spring Boot. So let's imagine for a minute that you're working on this app and you need to add features to that app. So how Spring Boot can help you, that's basically the purpose of this talk. So first of all, there is one thing that's configured on this app, and that's DevTools. So if we look at the I quickly mentioned that yesterday. I'm going to show you that again today. If you add this dependency, it's going to bring development features to your application. Okay, and one of these features is that you can connect your browser to your Spring Boot application, and your Spring Boot application can have an impact on your browser. So few things that you can do. You can see here that in the main area, I have some information here, not very useful, some text here. So let's fix this. So what I can do is look at the, I don't have it here, index. You can find that information somewhere. Here we go. So let's fix that, because it's really not what we meant to say. And you change the text, and DevTools will basically, you save, DevTools will inspect your project files, figure out something has changed, refresh the browser. You can get that experience without DevTools by disabling the cache. This is using timeleaf, by the way, so you can disable the cache of timeleaf and basically refresh the browser yourself. But this is really one dependency you can add to your app, and that's providing nice features. Another thing that we could do is let's go to some unknown endpoint. So you can see this wonderful crafted error page. Isn't it beautiful, don't you think? So I told you yesterday about security path, the default security password being impossible to remember and very long, just so that it bugs you enough that you fix it. The white level error page is pretty much the same thing. We are giving you a default page with some basic information, so that you know something went wrong and you can actually look at what happened. So you can see here that you got basically a fault not found. This page does not exist. Instead of the usual thing that you get, the error page from the embedded container. But you can fix this, and there's many ways to fix that. So let's use one way. So one way is to use a convention. So if you create an error directory in your template or static area, so you can use a template for it or simply a file that we will serve, a static file that we will serve. And then what you can do is name the file with the same status code as the status code that you want to handle. And if you do that, we will identify it. So if you create a for.html in that area, in the error area, either of the template or the static location, we will figure out that there is some customization that you want to apply there, and we will use that instead. So my error page now is really exactly what I want. More things is, if we go to the submission here, I can see that there is a web track missing. So there is something on my backend that's missing. I need to add some feature to my backend. Again, very simple, but just to show you how Spring Boot can help you. So let's open the list of tracks that we have. This is it. And let's add some code. And that's where I want to show you how, like I've shown yesterday, how Spring Boot can help you. And if I do that, Spring Boot will look at my file, restart the app in an optimized way, and refresh the browser. So this is really the first thing I want to show you, how DevTools can help you on a day-to-day basis. Working on your templates, working on the code, working on the configuration. Save your change, the application will restart, the browser will refresh, and you're good to go. Okay, so the first thing I want to change in this app, it's a CFP, it's a call for paper, so probably for a tech conference. What I would like to do is I would like to avoid having to provide that information, and rather I would like you as a future speaker to log in somewhere. And by proving who you are, then we can get that information and store it, rather than asking you again who you are, because you logged in, so this is you. That's basically the idea. So there's many ways you can do that. You could have a login, a registration panel that you build with a registration page, a forgot password. Then if you forgot the password, you need a mail service. You need plenty of features to make that happen. Or you could use an external service. And there's many services you can use. You've probably used that in the past plenty of times already. Like you can log in with Twitter, you can log in with GitHub, or you can log in with LinkedIn or whatever. And basically, that service is providing the authentication for a third-party application. And that's what we are going to use now. And since it's a tech conference, we're going to use GitHub. But we could have used any of the other services that provide that. So for this, we are going to use something called OAuth, which externalizes the authentication. So to be able to do this, I need to add an extra dependency. Here we go. That will bring me extra features to my app. And once I've that, I want to basically enable single sign-on using OAuth. I want to remove this because now you need to be authentified to be able to call submit. So what I want is for you to be able to access submit, you need to be logged in somehow. So let's remove this. I don't need the form login anymore because I'm going to use an external system. Sorry? You could leave it in if you want to have both, but then you can't say enable OAuth SSO with the simple form login that you have, because if you using OAuth to SSO, you need to basically delegate to OAuth to the OAuth protocol. If you want to have that on top with basic authentication, like I have now, then you need to manage that somehow. But you could, but it's more work. Then I need basically to tell Spring Boot where to go. So if someone requires to log in, where do I have to go? And the OAuth 2 protocol has a few locations that you need to provide. It's part of the spec, so really the spec is not that complicated, so you can understand that by spending a bit of time. So these are the things that you need to provide. You need to provide an URI that the application will hit when basically you need to authorize. Then you need a URI to get an access token that the application is going to use to be able to contact the service to get your information, basically. And finally, there is also a URI that you can use the URI that you need to use to actually get information about the login user. So now I need to define an app. I need to tell who I am, so that you, as a future speaker, can agree to provide certain information to this application. Okay. So since I'm using GitHub, I'm going to show you how to create an extra application, a new application. So if you have an organization or under your username on GitHub, you're obviously admin of your own area, so you can go to settings there. Then you have the developer settings of those applications there. And I'm going to register a new app, and I'm going to call that my CFP. The important part is that you need to tell where your application is, so that GitHub calls you back, basically, once the user has authenticated. So I'm going to do something very smart. I'm going to redirect to my own machine. Then some information about the what you need to tell to that user to basically introduce yourself. And the reason why I put localhost 8080 is because that's what I need. That's where my application is running now. Obviously, in a real case, you would put the domain, the actual location where your application is. But more importantly, when you do so, GitHub is going to give you two information, a client ID and a client secret. And you're not supposed to see that, of course, because otherwise you can pretend you're my some CFP application. But you can actually look at it and take a screenshot or whatever, because that application will only work on localhost 8080, so there's nothing bad you could do with it. So now I need to tell Spring Boot, please use those credentials to identify yourself to GitHub. So I'm going to provide that information here. Client secret. That's the client secret. Let's see if that works. Right. I'm trying to do. Yeah, that should probably work. So first thing I want to show you is, since I'm already logged in on GitHub, I want to show you what happens if you're not. So I'm opening this app. As always, I can access it. But if I want to submit, and if I want to submit, then I'm basically redirected to GitHub to log in, to basically tell to GitHub who I am. I want to show you now, and then something else will happen, but I want to show you now, that's basically the principle of single sign-on. I want to show you now, if you're already authenticated with GitHub, what happens concretely. So this is my main page, where I'm already authenticated. You can see that here. So if I click on submit, then I'm basically also redirected to GitHub, and I have to basically tell, do I accept to give that my information to this application? And as you can see, I didn't specify any extra information I want from you. The only thing I want is that GitHub tells me who you are and validates who you are. That's the only thing that I want. Perhaps for some reason I would have liked to have your email address, for instance, to register your email address in the system. Then you need to ask that there is a concept in OOs that's called scopes, where you can specify a list of scopes, basically things that are secured and you want to access. And they are provider specific, even though different providers usually have the same scopes, but there is no standardization about them. So I could have used, I forgot the name, I think it's email, the email scope, and then I would have access to your email address registered on GitHub, even though it's not public. But in this case, I'm not asking for anything, so I'm going to say yes, I agree to give that public information, and then I can see that I'm actually logged in now, using GitHub on my app. Seamless than what? Yeah. Well, so it's much simpler because the OAuth2 protocol doesn't really require much. Now the truth, obviously, I'm showing you the sunny day, the first steps. Again, it's the same thing as the presentation yesterday, it's the first step so that you understand how it works. Then when you need to go deeper, for instance, if you need to ask scopes, then you need to dig into the provider-specific documentation. What are those scopes? How can you access the information, etc., etc. But I'm going to show you more. So one problem that I have now is, let's say I want to look at the current proposal, like I did initially, and I can't anymore. And I can't because I'm not an admin anymore, right? I'm logged in as Nicoll. That's my GitHub ID. I'm not using the admin user that I've created initially in the first version. So I need to tell somehow my application which user can actually access this information. Another thing is I'm back with the wonderful error page, right? So what can I do now? I have a 4.1 or 4.3. I have a 4.3 because I'm logged in, but I can't access the data. So I could create a 4.3.html in the same location as the 4.4, and then I'll get the same nice error page that I've created. But we have one more thing for you. Is actually we have an extra convention that if you rename that page with axis, you basically map everything with the axis. So you can put that at any level in the sequence. So you could map, for instance, all 4 or something by 4 or x. 4x mean any client-side exceptions. And there's one problem is it's telling me here page not found, which basically is not the right error message, right? So let's fix that. Remember, it's a template. So because it's a template, I get to write whatever I want. So what I could say is something like, and pass basically some information that's in the model. And I'm missing an equal sign there. Usually I always get this wrong, so if that doesn't work, that's because I get something wrong. So let's see. Okay, here we go. So if you can read that, it's oops forbidden now, and I can go back on foo and yeah, oops not found. So the error page mechanism in Spring Boot also gives you an object that contains some error attributes, like the status code, like the message, like an additional description, and you can create also your own object and pass more information to it if you want. And that object is used by the rendering engine, so you have that as an argument, and you can basically add this information anywhere you want on the screen. But I'm still not an admin, so let's fix that. So there's a few hook points you can use for that. The first thing that I'm going to do something very stupid, because it's a demo and I have the right to do so. I'm going to list the admin users in the code. What? Why not? I'm going to say me. Okay, that's obviously not going to work. I need to implement a hook point. So there is a callback interface you can implement that's called authorities extractor. And authorities extractor, if you define a bean with that type, we will give you what the OAuth2 provider as sent back as data. Usually it's the form of a map key value pair. So that's where you need to dig into the implementation specific provider you're using. In the case of GitHub, there's always a login attribute that's the GitHub ID that logged in the application. And as you can see, it's very complicated. I'm basically saying if I'm within the admin user, I have those roles. Otherwise, I'm just a user. And again, DevTools, so I don't have to restart my app. I just have to save, and I'm not found because I'm not on the right thing. But if I go to admin, I should have access to the admin area again. Okay. So first experience with OAuth2, it's very easy. You just have to define a few things. Basically, select your provider, read a bit of the doc of the provider, and then once you need to go a bit deeper, if you look at the Spring Boot documentation, yeah, we write the documentation. So have a look. It might be interesting. Then there is the hook points that you can use to actually customize, fine-tune how the security config is being applied. But that part is not very smart, is it? That's not what I want. One thing which may be a bit better, still not the best thing, but again it's a demo, is to externalize that to a configuration property. so that you can actually list those outside of the code. So I want to show you how you can do this, and this demo is really generic, so I want to show you if you have some configuration properties in your own code, your own service. So you need to customize the way something you wrote works. Exposing properties is really one good way to do it, so that you can pass that outside of the jar, outside of the application, as a system property, as a command line switch or whatever. It's a good way for you to do that. And usually what you'll do, you'll build an infrastructure to do that. I want to show you how you can do that with Spring Boot. So the first thing you need to do, and I'm going to showcase that for this property, and remember I told you that the GitHub client, I was passing something I didn't really like. I'm not sure I showed you that, actually. I'll probably show you that. So I'm passing the token here, and that token is actually a system property or an environment variable on my machine, I can't remember. So I'm passing the token externally like that. I don't want to do it. So the first thing you'll do, if you want to expose properties, is create an object representation for it. So as you can see, I have a CFP properties object with sub namespace, so I have a GitHub namespace where I can specify the token, and I have a security namespace where I can specify the admins. And that collection is initialized with default admin users. That should be there if nothing is configured, which is me and my colleague. So once you have the object representation for that, the next step is to ask Spring Boot to map the environment to that object. So the way you do this is quite easy. You define a prefix for that object. So that object will be managed by the CFP namespace. So typically, any key that starts with CFP, CFP.something, will be mapped to this object. Okay? So you'll basically expose two properties, CFP.GitHub.token, okay, and CFP.security.admins. Okay? So the list, the name of the field really doesn't matter. It's standard Java Bean properties. So the getter and the setter is going to infer the property name, and the property name is part of the key. I need to process that, so there's many ways you can do it, but you could make that a component so that it's scanned, so Spring Boot scans it and creates a bean for it. And once you've done that, I can actually remove this, and I can inject like any bean. That's the beauty of the thing. You can inject part of your configuration as an object, and then you can do whatever you want with it. So let's say security, sorry, admin. Let's see what happens if I do that. Okay, I'm still admin. Nothing has changed because there is a default value, and the default value includes me. So let's say CFP security admins. Let's do that. What happens if I do that? Okay, kind of good. So you've made the link. It's really easy. Anywhere Spring Boot loads the configuration, it does it not only for the auto configuration, but it also does it for your own config. So whatever your business logic, your custom service, your technical infrastructure, using Spring Boot or not, is doing, you can use that infrastructure to also customize the business-specific configuration that you may have. But something isn't right, because the editor is complaining that this property is unknown. And as a matter of fact, if I type CFP here, I get something else, but I don't get the GitHub token value. I don't get auto-completion for it, which is sad. It would be nice if you could have the same auto-completion, right, for your own keys, the things that you use in your own infrastructure, things you can share with your teams. So you can do it. That's the good news, and I want to show you now how you can do that. It's quite easy. And I'm going to show you how you can make that happen and then quickly explain how that works. So I'm going to add a dependency. It's called the configuration processor. And usually it needs 2 compile runs to get it right. Maybe not this time. No, not this time. Good. So let's see. You can see that the warning is gone, and if I'm typing CFP, I have the information now. So what happened? I'm just adding a dependency. Like DevTools, you add a dependency and some development tool specific features are turned on. What happens when I add the configuration processor? Actually, it's quite easy. You've probably heard of a project called Lombok. You heard of that? So you put some annotations on your classes and you don't have to write getters and setters. Something is generating them for you at compile time. Lombok is using what we call an annotation processor, which is a way for you to have a callback with the model of the class being compiled and have a way to generate additional bytecode or generate any resources really as part of the compilation. It's a standard API in the compiler. And we actually use that mechanism to look at any class that's annotated with configuration properties in the current project. And when you compile the project, so adding the dependencies is all that's required. If you've used Lombok in the past, you know that you add Lombok and then something happens. It's the same thing here. And what that's going to do, it's going to inspect your configuration properties annotated object, and it's going to generate a metadata file with the keys that you've defined. Basically looking for Java lock on the field, looking at default values. When it can extract the default values, it will do so. Basically, all the IDEs have been, let's say, improved to look at that metadata file. So if you look at the jar of Spring Boot, you'll see that that file with the exact same format is defining all the keys that you can use today. Okay, so very easy. Summary: you create a POJO where you define the prefix of your keys. You can have as many as you want. Then you define the structure, the type level structure you want for your keys. As you can see here, I have nested namespace because I wanted to show you the advanced stuff. But you could also have a prefix with a bunch of properties. It really depends how you want to structure your configuration. Add the annotation processor, which will add the metadata file to the jar, and the IDE will pick that up automatically. You have nothing to do, like I've shown you. Any questions so far? None. Good. I hope. Okay. I want to let me quickly now show you how it can improve a bit more. And remember, these are the commits I was talking about. So remember, I told you that you having to provide that information over and over again was a bit painful, and maybe we should reuse that information. So it's quite a bit more dense. There's a bit more code to it. So I'm not going to code that live with you, but I'm going to show you the main pieces. So I've basically checked out the next commit, and then the speaker email and the speaker name is gone. And if I submit something, so let's say whatever, submit. If I go to the admin area, I can see the speaker here is a first class concept. I didn't have to provide it because it's the information that comes from GitHub. So how does it work? It's quite easy. First of all, I have a new entity on my system, so let me show you the data structure. Maybe it will be easier for you. So I have a user now, and the user is basically the information that comes from the authentication system. I'm actually storing that the first time you log in. So the first time you log in, we actually look if we have something about you. Do we have a reference? Do we have a user entity about you? If we don't, then we create an entity and we store that into the system. If we do, we basically return the information that we have. And using that callback interface, that's called the principal extractor, using that extra callback interface, we actually tell security what the principal is. So the authenticated principal, is actually the user. What that means is once you're logged in this application, anywhere you have a security context, you can ask to get the reference to the user. So you don't have to grab that. You can ask the container to inject the information for you. And that's what we use. So if you look at the CFP controller, so that's the component that allows you to submit a new proposal to the CFP. I can use this. I can ask Spring Security, give me the principal. And because I've told the principal is the user, it's a business concept of yours. Spring Security doesn't know about it, but you can teach Spring Security what the principal is. Then you can also use that in your business logic. So in this case, I'm just going to inject the current logged-in user, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to associate the user to the current submission. So if I'm creating a new submission now, it's going to be referenced with the logged-in user that will create it when I log in the first time. The rest of the code is basically removing the form from the user interface, removing the concept from the service layer. It's not really interesting, so I'm not going to show you that. But again, I'll give you the link to the sample app. Right. So let's see what my rating says. Okay, I've done a few. Cool, not much actually. And if I'm going to this application again, it takes some time. I'm asking again. Okay, you can see that the number of calls I can do decreases. That's because every time I load this page, the GitHub client has to load the latest commit for the two projects and has to call GitHub to get that information, which is rather stupid because it's not going to change every 2 seconds. So maybe we can add some caching to this application, and I want to show you how you can do that with Spring Boot. So it's actually quite easy. One thing you need to do is to add the basic infrastructure to get started. So yeah, there's a starter for that. You have a cache starter, which basically brings you the necessary bits to use caching. Then I want to basically tell I want to enable caching for this application because this is something that you have to opt in. This is not something that should happen behind your back. You need to tell at some point. Just because caching is available in the class path, we shouldn't enable caching behind your back. We think it's a conscious decision that you have to make. So some auto configuration are not enabled automatically when we feel it's not the right call. So this is one of them. So you'll have to basically ask for it explicitly. It's the same thing for OO's single sign-on. You've seen me initially enable the single sign-on. Just because you have Spring Security OOs on the class path doesn't mean you want to use single sign-on. You may have that for other reasons, or maybe it's bringing by a third-party library that you're not really using completely. So these are the cases where you have to basically opt in for the feature. Now the cache itself, my GitHub client is the main area where everything is happening. So I have a few methods that gives me the recent commit for a project, the recent polish commit. So the polish commit is this joke here. Maybe you don't know about that, but the framework has a lot of commit with polish in it because we polish a lot. We look at commits and okay, something is wrong, we can improve that. So we improve it a bit, we commit, we call that polish. And there was a joke on the internet that Spring Framework has a lot of polish in it. So we've made the same joke. Maybe it's not funny, I don't know. But anyway, this page is basically looking for the latest polish commit, and there is one here. And it gives you this wonderful number of days. So anyway, this is implemented here by those two methods. And there's an extra method down below where we use the client to actually retrieve your information. And that's what we are going to use to create the user entity. So because we are using GitHub and GitHub calls us back with your login, we can call back GitHub with your login to get your information, basically, because we have the security scope to do so. So these are the three methods that I want to basically cache. So how do I do that? Basically, I can ask the context to create an aspect around my service. And let's call that GitHub commits. GitHub commits is, that's the wrong cacheable method, maybe? No. GitHub commits is the name of the cache, okay? That's where we are going to store the information. Let's call that publish commits. And we have a user there. Let's call that users. And restart the app. I need to restart the app because I've changed the dependency. I've added more jar to the class path. That DevTools can't figure it out. You need basically to restart the app completely if you change the class path. So let's go there. So how much call do I have? 82. Let's do a bunch of refresh there. And it's still 82. Okay? So now I'm not contacting GitHub anymore. And the way it works, so let's take this one as an example. This is actually going to do the following. Whenever you call, so this is a Spring Bean, so you basically inject that bean in your whatever service layer you need. You will call it with a parameter. Let's say GitHub ID is foo. Before calling the actual method, so before calling that business logic, the framework will look for cache name github.users, and it will look in that cache if there is an entry with the key foo. If there is an entry with the key foo, it's going to return that value and not call your method at all. If there isn't, it will call the method, and before returning the value to the user, it will put the return value in the cache. So all the cache operations are basically transparent for you. And there's many things that you can customize. So you can customize how the key is created by default. We take all the input parameters and we compute a key based on that. It may not be the thing that you want to do, so you can customize the way the key is generated. You can also provide conditions when caching should occur, etc., etc., etc. And you may wonder where is this stored? What is the cache, right? Because I haven't provided anything. So if we look to the metrics area, then we can see that we have a few more statistics now. That should be somewhere. Where are they? Here we go. Yep. Thank you. So there you can see cache dot something. So cache dot the name of the cache, and you have one attribute actually, which is the size of the cache. So you can see that I have two entries in the commits, one in the user, and two in the polish commits. And that doesn't tell you where it's stored. So there is, like when you're using data JPA, we don't bring a database because we don't know which database you want to use. There is no default for that. We have a default for caching, which is basically storing things in memory. So that's really the last resort. There is no cache libraries. We don't bring any cache libraries. So there's plenty of them. You may have heard of projects like called EHCache or Hazelcast or Infinispan, or there are many. They all have unique features, so we can't really choose which one you want. But we can provide you a nice default of storing things in memory. That's also why you didn't have to provide any configuration at all, because what we are going to do in this mode is whenever there is a cache that's being requested, so the name you put in the annotation, we will create the cache on the fly if it doesn't exist yet. You can't, and that's a good question. Can you control the expiration? No, you can't, because it's very basic. Concurrent hash maps in memory, sorry. It's actually the concurrent hash map from the JDK with no added features on it. But I want to quickly, and thank you for introducing the next thing. I want to quickly show you how you can do more. Yes, I'm a bit late. So let me show you that very quickly. Actually, I'm going to do this because I'm very late. No, I don't want to do that. Okay. So if you use a real cache library, then you can actually configure more things like the expiration, like the maximum size. Any cache library has actually a very complex, or let's say deep configuration model, where you can say, don't use more than X megabyte of the heap, for instance. EHCache has that kind of feature. You can specify the maximum size in the heap to use, and then you can decide to switch back to the file system, for instance. Whatever cache library you want to use, most of them are actually supported by Spring Boot. So if you drop the cache library, we will look for the default configuration file and apply it. In this mode, if you don't apply a configuration, of course, then it will fail because it won't know where the cache is if you don't define one. Okay, so I'm a bit late. So the next thing I want to show you is how you can manage your schema. And I actually did a checkout of the next demo. I'm supposed to live code, but that's good on its own. At the moment so far, that embedded database that we have is relying on Hibernate to create a schema. And while it's good for prototyping and starting the application, if you start putting the application in production, you don't want Hibernate to create a schema for you. You want to manage the schema yourself, making sure that if there are some data in the system, you can upgrade that schema when you need to add more features to it. In Java, there are two main libraries that do that. One is named Liquibase and the other one is named Flyway. I'm going to show you how you can do that with Flyway. So with Flyway, I just need to drop an extra dependencies in my project so that Flyway is going to manage the schema for me. I need to tell to Hibernate, please don't create the schema, because otherwise Hibernate will. So I'm basically disabling the DDL auto mode of Hibernate. Then I'm creating a file in a specific location. So remember, error will automatically pass error pages. Flyway actually has a DB migration default location where you can drop files with a versioning system. So the name of this file is a Flyway specific concept. So I'm actually creating the version 1 of my schema, and it contains my two objects there. So if I restart this app, you can see that Flyway will actually detect the file and do something with it. And we can prove it did something because there's a dedicated endpoint for it. So that's it. So if you go to admin Flyway, so that's an extra actuator endpoint that you get once you use Flyway. It basically tells you the state of your database. If your database has been migrated successfully, what's the version, and blah, blah, blah. So you know exactly when that schema was updated and the current status of that schema. That's not very interesting, right? Because what you want probably is to do that on a real database. So I have a real database here. I have MySQL, which is empty for now. I have a CFP schema that's empty. So what I want to show you, I hope before last demo, is how you can switch from in-memory database to real database in your IDE without changing too much config. And one way to do that is any IDE, so if you use Eclipse or NetBeans, they have the same concept. What I want to do is I want to create a separate run config, and I want to enable an extra profile, an extra Spring Boot profile of my app that I call local. You've seen here application-local. And in this case, I'm actually giving the information of the database I want to use. Okay? So if I start with this one, it's going to switch to MySQL. So if I'm reverting to the old run config, I'm back again with the... that's because I have two apps running. Here we go. Something had to fail. Why? There's only one app. Oh, there is a processing around. Okay, so that's about it. I won't have time to do this one. But the last demo that I had is basically working on the app. And what I meant to show, I don't have the time, is add an extra feature to your app. And one thing that was missing is a field where you can provide submissions, a note, to the submission committee. So not only can you provide the public description of your talk, but some additional information for the committee so that they understand why you are submitting. And in this demo, I'm creating a version 1.1 of the schema. And if you do this with this infrastructure, with Spring Boot and DevTools, you just save. The context will restart, it will figure out it needs to update the schema. It will update the schema, add the extra field, and your app will be running with the extra field. So you can try it out, or maybe we can, if you want to have more info about that, you can come to me today, and I can show you. We'll have a bit more time, I suppose. So my time is up, I'm afraid, and I'll take questions outside. I hope you'll have a great second day in the conference. Thank you.